What's going on, everybody? This is Jeff with Altcoin Buzz. So today I'm going to make a video to talk about some advice for people who are just starting out in cryptocurrency, advice for beginners. First and foremost, I'd like to welcome you to the world of cryptocurrency. We all have our beginning points. I was there, you're there now, and at some point you'll be a veteran at this, and there will be someone that you'll have to train and groom and take care of, and making sure that they're set up with the right stuff. And maybe some of you will watch this video and share some of this information with friends and family. Okay, with that being said, this is not financial advice, and you guys need to take responsibility for your own actions. That's one of the big things about all of this, is you should always be prepared to take responsibility for all your decisions. Just because you watch a video doesn't mean that it's necessarily the gospel truth and that it's the only one true way, right? There's no dogma to this. I don't have any dogma to cryptocurrency, and I am flexible. So I'm always flexible with cryptocurrency because the market is so volatile and it can change on a dime that if I get stuck in one way and I'm not able to adjust or respond according to a move, then I'm stuck in the mud, So you don't want to be stuck in the mud. So let's kick this right off and talk about some of the things that I like to suggest. One of the big things that I point out to newbies is that Bitcoin is the mothership. It's like it's the central store of value. It's the gold standard of cryptocurrency. So whenever you take out an altcoin position, you're essentially betting against the Bitcoin. And the only time you should be doing that really is when you are believing that the altcoin has more growth potential than Bitcoin. So for example, if Bitcoin goes up to $38,000, then that would be a 2 times gain. But where can you get 2 times gains faster than that? Well, in some of these altcoin positions, right? So just keep that in mind, that the end goal is to ultimately get the gold in the bank, right? You want to get the Bitcoin. You want to try to get to 1 Bitcoin, especially since we're at less than 1% global mainstream adoption, meaning less than 1% of the world owns or holds some sort of Bitcoin. So you're in that 1%, the 1%ers or the 2%ers, the 5%ers. You're in that top 1% of people who are on this wagon that we believe is going to the moon, right? So with that, you want to try and get as much of the Bitcoin as you can, right? Now, with all that being said, I always suggest taking out 2 different strategies here. I call it core versus profit. Core is basically your long-term hold, right? So like if you buy Bitcoin right now, and let's say you put in $1,000 into Bitcoin and it goes up from here to $40,000. So you just doubled that $1,000 to $2,000. All right, so what you can do, if you would like, is take out your $1,000 and leave your other $1,000 in profit in there and basically get all your money back. So you keep all your money in there. The other strategy would be to keep it all into Bitcoin and let it ride, right? So with all that being said, that your core profit is your long-term hold, and then how much of that are you going to try and get the money back into fiat to take the profit on? So you need to always write that down or figure it out in your head, however you like to do it. But you need a core position and a profit position, more than likely. You don't have to do that, but you can just let it ride. I mean, that's HODL. That's money that you can afford to lose, right, if it goes away. So you have to keep in mind, if you're trying to ride it out, you've made that decision to ride it out and not take the profits when the profits are there. So it's up to you what you guys choose to do. You could say 25% of it you'll take profit on, and then keep the other 75 in. If you bought 4,000 Ripple, maybe you'll sell 1,000 Ripple when it reaches 80 cents if you bought it at 25 cents, something like that. Keep the other 3,000 in there and ride it to $5, something like that. So the next thing that I'm going to say is, when you're keeping your money or when you're on exchanges, make sure you're storing the majority of your positions on a safe exchange that allows 2FA, two-factor authentication. You can do that with Google Authenticator. Now, when you do set up 2FA, make sure you write down the backup code and or print it out. Now, when you store it in a safe place in your house, like in a box or something. You can go to Office Max and get a box, a safe. You can store it in a safe drawer. You can put it underneath some things where only you know where it's at. Or what you might do is you might store it in one place and also keep it on an external hard drive. Now on that external hard drive, I also recommend that you store all your information about your wallets, and that external hard drive has all your login information, and it's not it's not something that someone can just plug into their computer and get all your crypto information, right? So if you can put a password on it, don't tell people that you have all your information on this external hard drive. Just keep it to yourself, okay? So having an external hard drive of some sort that you can access is probably a pretty good idea. Now, moving right along here and talking about other things. So with these transaction times and these exchanges, I'm going to suggest that you're going to be a little bit more patient than you have been. Once you know that you've copied the correct address, okay? So for example, Jax. If I wanted to use Jax, so this is a plugin that you can install here. You can say, so you'd copy this, right? If you wanted to send Bitcoin to this, you can hit copy, right? It copies the full thing. You can even see right here, if I just show you what I'm looking for. So I'm basically making sure that I've got the last two and the first two in place, right? So let's verify. Okay, so this is, once I know that I've correctly copied everything, 1F and F8. So 1F, F8. Once I know that the money will show up because I correctly copied my wallet information, okay? If it takes a week or if it takes a week, you know, then wait a week. But if it doesn't show up after a week, maybe something's wrong. But it will show up, okay, guys? So don't be messaging the exchanges so quickly and creating all these support tickets, because if every new person to cryptocurrency did that, just imagine the load that you're putting on these exchanges, which is going to cause more centralization because they're going to have to hire more people, which means more centralization. It's like bigger government. If you want bigger government, keep hounding these exchanges like you've been doing. Like, if it doesn't show up, I say like you have been doing. Not all of you have been doing that, so I apologize for that. But just be more patient with these transaction times. Also with fees, realizing if you're going to be trading and taking 10 to 15%, you're going to be also getting hit with exchange fees and Bitcoin fees and all these things. So try not to overtrade too much, okay? And try not to over transfer. You don't want to get in the habit of changing it around and moving it around and moving it around. Just kind of find a safe place to store it. Put 2FA on there. Put it on a hardware wallet. Wherever you're going to store it, make sure you got your two-factor authentications or PINs all set up, written down in 2 different places. One in a box in your house in case your external hard drive crashed or whatever, okay? Now, when it comes to taking advice from people on the internet like myself or anybody, I use the term trust but verify. For example, if I recommend Ripple at 74 cents, I would recommend that you go in there and try to look at the chart and try to understand if you think that Ripple is a good buy at 74 cents. You don't just take my advice, but you trust my advice if you like, but then you verify if it's accurate. So you don't want to buy at all-time highs, so 87 cents. You might conclude that if it's already been at 87 cents, it'll revisit that again. And right now at 74 cents, it's a buying opportunity because it's on a dip. So the whole idea of buying on a dip means don't buy at an all-time high typically. With Verge, we were buying when it was going up. With Cardano, we were buying on the way up because we saw things that indicated that it was going to go up, right? So that's really an important factor. Like, don't FOMO into something, or, you know, just because it's going up doesn't mean you have to jump in before you miss the boat, right? Kind of be patient and be like, okay, I can wait a little bit to get back in this position. Like Cardano, I want to FOMO so hard into Cardano right now, but I'm like, what I mean by Cardano, just kind of taking off right now. So it's at 36 cents, but look at this chart. Sky high, right? Look at that massive, massive peak. And I don't know where it's going from here, but I mean, it's already been 37. It's pulled back to 35. You know, so but it keeps on going up. It's like maybe you can buy the dip here, but at the same time, realize you're buying it like close to all-time highs. But it still has a lot of room to grow. Now, when we're also looking for cryptocurrencies to invest in, realize you don't want to invest more than you can afford to lose. Right? That's really important. Don't invest more money than you can afford to lose. And try to not have an emotional attachment to any of your positions. Fanfare, I guess you would call it. You want to avoid fanfare. Fanfare is like where you're like, so attached to Electronium or SafeX or Verge or IOTA that when you have an opportunity, you're kind of becoming emotionally attached. Emotionally attached is not very good for trading or investing strategies because it's fanfare. It's like dogma. It's kind of like you see it in the political process where if you're a Republican, you're a Republican, so you can't really see how the Democrats see it. Or if you're a Democrat, you're a Democrat, so you can't really view it the way that the Republicans see it. Or if you're a Libertarian, you can't align with either of those two. It's like in football, right? If you're a New England Patriots fan, you have to hate the Jets. You have to hate the Giants, you know, something like that. Whereas with this kind of stuff, you're like agnostic to it. You're like, look, I'm not married to any of these cryptocurrencies. I don't own, well, you might own some of their currency and you might be looking to take out some profit on that position, but don't be too much of a fanfare of any of these, okay? Just be looking at it more from a less emotional position and more of a focused position, okay? So with all that being said, there is a couple other things that we can take a look at here on coinmarketcap.com. I mentioned this yesterday in the videos, but in case you missed it, some of the things that I look at are recently added, gainers and losers. So you can click right here, recently added. You can see some of these brand new coins that were added 1 day ago. I'm usually looking at high market caps, which indicate a successful ICO like Wabi has had. And Wabi had a successful ICO and it kind of carried over into the market to 83%. Now, be also aware of Bitcoin forks. There are going to be more Bitcoin forks. That means if you hold one full Bitcoin, every time Bitcoin X or Super Bitcoin comes out, like this Bitcoin fork, if you have it in a place like, I know this sounds weird, but the safest place that people are saying that they've had their Bitcoin to get these forks is on Binance. So big props to Binance, the exchange called Binance, because people who are holding their Bitcoin on Binance are getting the forks, whereas people who are holding it on other exchanges are not having that same kind of result consistently. They might get the Bitcoin Cash, but they didn't get the Bitcoin Gold. You know, so big props to Binance for that. But understanding how the fork dynamic comes in. So like Bitcoin X, there's a lot of Bitcoin X. So you would have gotten like, I want to say some people got like, if you had one Bitcoin, you got like over 11,000 or something like that. But if you had one I think you got one super Bitcoin. So it just kind of varies, and the prices vary too. Like most of the time when a fork comes out, whatever it hits at, it usually goes down. But you can also hold. You don't have to just sell. You can hold it out and ride it out. But Super Bitcoin and Bitcoin X, those are the hard forks. Now, I also do recommend that if you're new to the cryptocurrency, that you try to participate in an ICO. And doing that, in participating in an ICO, I recommend that you go with one that's fairly mainstream. So pick one that a lot of people are on the bandwagon for, which is going to indicate that it's got a lot of hype behind it, which is going to indicate a lot of funds in there. And being at the ground level and being able to participate in that ICO is a pretty safe investment in the ICO. When you start going off into some of these other projects, these hidden gems, or what you perceive to be a hidden gem, or these special projects, these ones that are not so popular, just be aware there's going to be more risk but more reward opportunity there. But if you're into something like Electronium, for example, people participated in that ICO. They got their coins at one penny when the ICO came out, and then you know, the next thing you know, it's at 12 cents and everyone sells their positions and it pulls back down to 6 cents. But if you participate in the ICO, even then you still have 6 times gains, right? So some people took 12 times gains on the ICO, some people took 6 times gains on the ICO, but either way, everyone's still up. The only people who are kind of struggling with that are the people who are late to the party. Another one example of that was Power Ledger. These are two of the more popular ICOs that hit the market. Now, when Power Ledger hit the market, it hit it like just under 4 or 5 cents, and then it went up to as high as, you know, 85 cents. So if you participated in this and however many coins you got, which could have been a lot, I don't know the exact price of that, but you know, you get the idea. It was at 5 cents and it went up to 95 cents. That's a lot of gains, right? That's like at least 18 times gains. And who knows what the exact price per coin was, and I haven't done the math on it, but I participated in that ICO and I was pretty stoked when I saw it just shoot up right afterwards. But that's why it's important to get into these hype ICOs, because when they hit the market, a lot of times they go up too. So you get a big gain by being an early investor in an ICO. Let me show you guys a recent ICO that I participated in that really it hit it out of the water. I feel as though it was a safe ICO to participate in. It was called WAX, Worldwide Asset Exchange. You know, it was a solid event, and when it hits the market here, be on the lookout. I think it's going to be December 29th, 2017 is when they get distributed. So they're shortly after the coins will hit the market, and you know, it's just a positive ICO to have participated in my opinion. It had enough of the hype, I guess you could say, behind it, and enough of the belief in it. When I'm looking at some of these ICOs, I want to know who's on the team. Like, show me the team, let me do a little research on the team. Let me know that they got some faces behind this project, and they're willing to put themselves out there on it, right? You know, let me go check out their Twitter. See, I'll come on here to see if they're communicating and keeping us up to date, showing that they're legit. Kind of like, let's see here, like Satoshi Light. You know, that's the Charlie Lee, the founder of Litecoin. You know, he keeps us up to date. You can tell that he's putting himself out there to say, like, yes, you can trust Litecoin. By the way, guys, if you're on Twitter, you can follow me or follow us, altcoinbuzz.io. I'll also let you know that if you do follow this channel, we do have different people on here that are going to be contributing everything from news to technical analysis and technical insights, and also some tutorials for beginners and whatnot. So it's not just going to be me. I'll still be producing content for you guys, but just be aware that when you hear a different voice, it's not something crazy. It's just more people getting involved and giving you guys the tools and the nuggets that you need, or that you could use to strengthen your ability to grow into trading as one of the 1%. So you can follow us, altcoinbuzz.io, on Twitter. I do recommend that if you are into cryptocurrency, that you are on Twitter, as Twitter has proven to be one of the strongholds. Following some of these guys like Charlie Lee, John McAfee. So you can get with John McAfee here, follow him. I'm not saying you have to listen to any of these people, but, you know, look at Universa, whom I have been advising, raised 28 million. You know, so there's just, you just get, like, who's Adversa, or Universa, sorry. John McAfee talking about XVG, which is Verge. So, you know, you just get a little bit of extra insight by following these guys on Twitter. Litecoin, same thing there. You know, it just depends on, you don't have to necessarily like the person to follow them, right? Like, you could follow Vitalik. He's the founder of Ethereum. You know, like I said, you really don't have to like any of these people. I like all these people. You know, I try to be agnostic. I look at everybody as like a brotherhood. I don't really try to say, oh, they're an enemy of this, you know, they're the enemy of cryptocurrency. I don't really get too much into that. So I keep my feelings out of it. I keep my emotions out of it. Sure, it's not that I go numb. It's that I'm in this for, I'm looking to be more professional about it than I am looking to be an emotional roller coaster, emotional ride. And I look at everyone in the crypto space as at the 1%. Like, I mean, there's 99% of people who are already kind of like looking at us like we're you know, whatever they think we are. But we're all in this together. You don't have to, you know, you don't have to hang out with everybody all the time, but, you know, make buddies with people in the cryptocurrency space. Follow people in the cryptocurrency space, and that's what's so cool about Twitter. Now, like I said, definitely hang out over here. I've been getting a lot of messages, and I apologize if I don't respond to that, but I will try to respond to some of them, or someone on our team will respond. I'll talk to our team about putting at the end like -Jeff or -Steve, whoever's responding. That way you know who you're talking to, because if someone from Altcoin Buzz responds, you want to know who you're talking to. If it's me, or if it's Steve, or Shaylin, or Shosh, you want to know who it is, right? So I'll talk to them about doing that for you guys. Also, following Altcoin Buzz on Facebook, we're going to start working over there a little bit more. Following Altcoin Buzz on Instagram, we're going to start working over there a lot more. And on Instagram, I'm going to start doing 60-second segments, just quick market intake, just posting there. So this is all coming together. I think we just started our Instagram last night, so it's really small. Someone's asking us to get into Discord. So just getting in tune with some of these applications that people in the cryptocurrency space use. I have a video on our channel about who to follow on social media, like on YouTube, on Twitter, on Steemit, all that good stuff. InvestFeed. Yet again, we're on InvestFeed, Altcoin Buzz. If you haven't already downloaded InvestFeed, it's an up-and-coming cryptocurrency finance platform. Just tons of opportunity out there for you guys. Just try to keep your emotions agnostic. You know, try not to get too caught up in the fanfare. You can be a fan of cryptocurrency, right? But even then, you know, don't invest more money than you can afford to lose, and that's the big thing. Buy the dip. You know, when it dips, that's when you buy. Like IOTA right now, people are concerned. There's FUD being spread about IOTA. That's the time to get into IOTA, right? You know, Cardano's at like an all-time high. So if you were to say, hey, Jeff, IOTA or Cardano, I'm like, well, I don't know. If I stick to the same principle of like buy the dip, I'm looking at IOTA, not Cardano, because it's two polar opposite positions. I'm not going to FOMO here when people are fudding, you know. It's like Litecoin. I'm waiting for Litecoin to have more of a retracement, but even at 298, I'm still saying it's below 300. But it's still close to an all-time high. I'm liking Litecoin at 250. If it doesn't get there, then I missed the boat. But there's plenty of other opportunities. I don't have to just FOMO into something. Okay, fear of missing out. Ripple. I mean, Ripple, we already know what that position is, and I'm not trying to repeat myself in every video. Although I have to keep in mind that some of you, this might be your first time here. So with all that being said, if this is your first time here and you haven't subscribed, you can feel free to subscribe to this channel. Drop a comment about your experience and your advice to newbies if you have been watching these videos before. And if you are also subscribed, but you like videos like this, hit that, that bell next to the subscribe button, and we'll see you guys next time. This is Jeff with Altcoin Buzz. Thanks for subscribing.